Hello, hello. Erica X. Dale here, the Abundance Activator, bringing you a new paradigm of abundance. And what I wanted to talk to you about in this little clip is the concept of abundance and why I call myself the Abundance Activator. What the heck does abundance even mean anyway? It's such a trendy word that gets thrown around all of the time, right? Well, from my perspective, when I look at us as human beings on this planet as a collective consciousness, when we distill everything down, everything we can possibly think about, it all comes down to frequency and tuning our frequency to the level of that which we want to create. We keep distilling it down. What frequency do we want to be at in order to create the highest possible outcomes for ourselves? Well, the frequency of love. It's the highest vibration, right? Um, so when we keep distilling that down, when we are in the frequency of love, we are abundant. And the universe is naturally abundant. Our birthright is abundance. And as human beings in this current paradigm, with all the tools that are circling around and cycling around, with all of the information that we have, when we understand certain marker points within each of us as individuals, we all have access to infinite abundance in every single area of our lives. But what does that mean? So a lot of the time when people hear the word abundance, they think, oh, money. And it's like, no. In my opinion, money is monetary prosperity, monetary abundance. That level of abundance is a side effect of being in alignment with your abundance codes. When you are living abundantly, when you are living your full potential, in feeling in alignment, in conscious control of your reality, understanding how to craft and create what you desire by tuning your frequency, that's abundance. We all have a unique genetic code and a unique design code when understood and activated, and when we're living our purpose, our path, and in alignment with who we're actually supposed to be, not who we've been trained to be. We all have a unique piece of the cosmic puzzle that we're supposed to be filling into. And when we each know our piece of the puzzle, we can click into that. That's when the universe can beautifully and perfectly orchestrate everything, way beyond what we could conceive of as humans. And when you click into your uniquely designated spot of the cosmic puzzle, there, you can't experience anything else other than abundance. And when you're living in that, everything you need comes to you, aka financial abundance as well. So monetary abundance is a side effect of living in alignment with your unique design code. Love abundance is a side effect of living in alignment with your unique design code. Opportunity abundance, abundance of your body working properly, being in the body that you love, and a strong, healthy, happy body that continues to support you and does your bidding day in and day out and works for you on your behalf. That's a side effect of you living in alignment with your unique design code. So in my world, abundance is abundance in every area of your life, and it all stems back, or it all lands back on one primary foundational principle, and that is your unique design code. So what I do is I help people activate their codes for abundance by understanding a few principles of themselves. Their human design, their gene keys, and the ability to utilize a modality that I wield and also teach called Serenity, Vibration, Healing, and Enlightenment Technique. I know it's a mouthful. But with these three components together, I can work with a person to translate to them exactly who they are, what they're supposed to be doing in life, how they're supposed to be doing life, and get them in alignment with their code, activate some of their genetic markers, like their prosperity codes, their love codes, their purpose codes, and teach them how to utilize their vibration day in and day out to be very discerning in how they're making choices in alignment with their desires, activating their ability to become so much more clear as to what they're here to do in the world. And why do we even want to do any of this anyway? It's not just for abundance. It's not just for financial abundance. At the deep root of all of us is because we have this drive. It's like a cellular drive to fill out our purpose, to find the satisfaction and the happiness and the peace of knowing that we're doing everything we can to fully experience the breadth of what each of us is capable of. There's a deep drive to do that, and there's an easeful way to do that and to attract it and to activate all of your abundance codes. And it's through these foundational principles of really understanding yourself, not who you've been trained to be, not who you've been conditioned to be, not what your personality tells you to be or your past experience tells you to be, who you actually are. And from that seat of consciousness, everything else gets so much easier. Now, I did mention the SVH, the acronym for Serenity Vibration Healing. What that is it's a modality, a very advanced, very powerful modality that I utilize with everything I do, all of the people I work with, and I also teach it. And it's a very high and potent ascension tool. There's a loud motorcycle in the background. What does that even mean? So in my belief structure is that we're all occupying a planet together. We're all part of a collective consciousness, and we're all ascending together, meaning that as the vibrations continue to up level, we as human beings are moving along with the planet, with the collective consciousness, as we jump into higher dimensions, higher frequencies. And a lot of us are experiencing this with ease and grace, and a lot of us are experiencing this with trauma and discomfort. As the human, our codes and our light quotient keep wanting to expand with the higher frequencies that are coming into the planet. A lot of us are prepared for that cellularly, and some of us just aren't. There's no judgment here. This is just what is going on. And as our bodies are receiving more access to more light, as we're trying to expand, if our bodies aren't prepared for that, if we're bogged down with our physical conduits being clogged up with toxins, excess weight on the body, heavy metals, if our metabolic system isn't operating appropriately, correctly, or our specific organs like the hypothalamus or the pituitary glands or the pineal gland are all calcified, we're not going to be receiving correctly, implementing and utilizing all of the excess that we are being bombarded with right now as we are looking to upgrade our frequencies and to go higher and higher and higher. And there's so many other things that can get in the way of the body being able to receive all of that. And it's not just physical, it has so much to do with the energy as well. And that can come from how we've been conditioned, our belief constructs, our patterns, our programs, the ego construct, and how that's very deeply intertwined with our subconscious programs, and how that's quite literally creating our reality unbeknownst to us. And so what the Serenity tools do, when you wield them appropriately with the person that understands their design code, is operating within their alignment, you can utilize these tools to go in and restructure your genetics, restructure and reprogram your patterning, mental emotional patterning, which always relates to cellular patterning, your cellular matrix, what experiences you've had in life. All of this programming is all locked in the subconscious. And when you're vibrating from the subconscious, which is what, I don't know how they get these figures, but it's like 90% of our vibratory output, our ability to create, because it's all vibration, right, is coming from our subconscious vibration. Well, subconscious is below consciousness. So if we don't even know what's in the subconscious, and yet because we're vibrating with all of these things that are locked in there, that's what we're attracting in life. How do we break out of that cycle so that we can flip it, turn the tables, where we come into conscious control of our reality because we switch from creating inadvertently and unconsciously with our subconscious vibration and click over into crafting, creating consciously with our consciousness. Well, we can do that in a very easeful way by utilizing tools such as SVH to really draw out the patterning, to sever it from your subconscious program, from your operating system, to upgrade your software. If we're talking in terms of computer technology, this is a computer. It's not the typical way that we're used to thinking of computers, but it's an operating system. When you upgrade your software by removing what's no longer serving you, it's been operating because it's been there. It used to serve you. It was input into you as a child, as you grew up. There's a reason for it, but it's no longer serving you. It's old, it's outdated. When you upgrade that and you're in choice and you stop operating and attracting from the ship that you inherited, from your ancestral profiling, from your genetics, from your conditioning in this reality, from your experiences. Imagine living inside a body, that which creates the vibration, which interacts with the laws of the universe that attract your reality into being. Imagine living in the conduit, the vibration creator that doesn't have access to anything that's past this moment, that doesn't have access to any vibration that's less than what you would consciously be choosing. Creating from this vehicle that no longer has cellular memory of trauma or pain or discomfort, that no longer is locked into programs that you inherited from your ancestors, that are in your genes, your DNA. If all of that is removed, can you imagine what would be happening for you in your life if your body was no longer bogged down by all of those lower frequencies and it was just elevated and operating at a higher frequency as you flip from creating subconsciously to creating consciously with a body and a vehicle that is in complete alignment and free from the bondage of the old patterns and programs. That's what quantum leaping is all about. And so when we pair these foundational components, these principles, aligning a person to their unique design code, activating their abundance codes in all areas of their life, and clearing their cellular matrix, their patterning, their subconscious profiling with powerful tools that really teach a person to restructure their neurological brain waves and their brain grooves to flip into crafting a life consciously. Holy shit. That's abundance. That's abundance. So that's my version of abundance. That's what I do in the world. I help people to do this for themselves through several different programs, several different offerings that I deliver to the world. The baseline of what I do is, like you've heard me say many times, is offering people readings on their unique design codes. And that's really translating for a person their human design paired with their gene keys. Because when you can see all of the different components of you as a completely unique, one-of-a-kind human being on this planet, never existed before, never will again, you're not a one-size-fits-all. You have very specific things going on inside of you that are different than everybody else. When you can understand yourself, you can advocate for yourself. You can learn, oh, the way that I do this one thing, I'm actually supposed to do that. That is how I have so much access to all of my power. That's how I am in alignment. That's how everything works for me. You can advocate for yourself. You can learn to communicate to other people so that they can support you in your alignment, in your brilliance, in your happiness. And what we've been taught to do is most of the time the exact opposite. We're operating the way we think we're supposed to be operating, and most of the time it doesn't quite work. And inadvertently, everybody around us is also expecting us to work in a way that's not correct for us. So knowing that is critical. Getting everybody in your realm to support you being you naturally, understanding who you naturally are supposed to be. And with that comes laser focused clarity, discernment, being able to be crystal clear and confident in the choices you're making, from the very big ones to the tiny little ones, because it's all the same thing. It all boils down to you being 1000% confident in yourself, trusting yourself. But we have to identify where the self is, because it's not the same for everyone. When we hear in the Now Age movement, people are like, oh, trust your intuition, or trust your instinct, or trust your gut, or be yourself, or get out there and speak your truth. I sit out here and I'm like, please don't until you know your unique design code. Because for some people, if you follow the blanket statements of one size fits all, go out and speak your truth. If you have an undefined throat and you're a generator, for instance, you will never be successful with that, ever. You will crash and burn every single time, and you will receive resistance outside of you. You will feel like you were never being heard and that you're always misspeaking. There is a way to speak your truth for that particular design. And with that concept, when somebody has gold inside of them, that's part of their purpose, a message to relay, wisdom to impart, it is so critical that it's delivered in a way where it lands, where people hear you, where people are looking for what you have to offer, and they're soaking it up. And let's take it a freaking step further, not just soaking it up, implementing. Oh, how about a step further than that? They're actually grateful. Can you imagine? That was a loud timer. Can you imagine being in alignment where you are actually speaking your truth in the correct way for you, and everyone around you who is receiving the gold coming out of your vessel is grateful, looking for it, wanting it, receiving it, implementing, and just overflowing with thanks? That's very important for humans in general to learn to do this. And we're all a little different. The same thing goes for, oh, trust your gut. That is for some designs. It is not for other designs. You trust your gut, you're in a world of trouble. Oh, go be yourself. For some people, they're like, yeah, they know exactly what that means. But therefore, that concept of go find yourself, go be your true authentic self, people who understand who they are aren't looking for that. It's all of the people like me who don't have a definition around our self and our unique design code. So we're like, okay, is that myself? Is that myself? Wait, maybe that's myself. And in the process, you don't freaking know yourself, but all the pressures around you are telling you you're supposed to. So you try one thing on, it feels good for a moment. Then you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't feel good anymore. Oh, this feels good. And all of a sudden you're like, who in the hell am I? What the hell is going on? It gets a little confusing. The pressure's outside of you. Everyone's going, you're not being consistent. Who are you? What's your message? What are you trying to do? All of this confusion. And it really boils down to that there's not one size fits all. We are all unique and different. We need to be able to translate what's going on inside of us so that we can access our abundance, be powerful in our path and purpose and what we're supposed to be doing, be very crystal clear about who we are and how to make very discerning choices for ourselves. Because when every individual is in alignment, is clear, confident, and trusting themselves, everything else around them works. Everything. Have you ever had an experience when you are so clear, you trust yourself so much and whatever? Does anyone around you ever argue with that? When you are in absolute deep inner knowing, does anyone ever argue with it? There's nothing to argue. It's like, oh yeah, she knows. What happens when you're in alignment like that? Do other people kind of borrow on your trust, borrow on your belief, feel really comfortable around you, support you, kind of lean in like, hey, what do you have to offer? What do you have to say? Can you help me? Can you share your wisdom? Everybody always loves being around people who are, in all essence, in alignment. And that's what we're all looking for. There is a very crystal clear pathway and roadmap to your specific alignment, and it's different than everybody else in the world. That is unique design code. And then with the tools on top of it to maneuver, tweak, shift, reprogram, rescript, and remove outdated software that's inside of you that's no longer serving you, we've got a winner. A big winner. So anyhow, that's what I do. I do offer several other programs, such as my Metabolic Reset program. You heard me talking about this a little bit in the beginning, but this vehicle that we're in is so sacred, and it is the conduit by which we are able to have the experience, be the abundant light workers that we're here to do, live out our path and purpose, deliver our great work to the world, create through our vibration. It's all this thing. It's all this thing. So when we have static in the conduit of our connection to source, our intuition, our ability to deliver, we're just not as potent. We're not as powerful. It can get off track a little bit. And one of the fastest ways to activating your abundance codes is through clearing up the static and the friction in the conduit. And one of the ways that I do that with people is by resetting their metabolisms for them, AKA sloughing off the excess adipose fat cells from their body and retraining their palate, their brain in terms of their connection to food, activating the hypothalamus and decalcifying the pineal gland. All of these things together really allow the body to clean out and to slough off the shit that's causing friction. Now, one of the things you may or may not know, I mean, we do know that our bodies are so brilliant and so smart, but the body will sequester toxins and heavy metals in adipose fat cells. So I see this happening so much out there. It's happened for me a lot in my past, but no matter how healthfully I was eating, I was maintaining excess weight on my body, and I didn't understand why. And I would keep dieting and keep exercising harder, and I wouldn't lose the weight, or I'd lose a little weight, but then yo-yo and go back and forth and up and down and left and right. And what really needed to happen was I needed to find a way to activate my hypothalamus so that my body could feel safe actually letting go of the adipose fat, which is what was sequestering the toxins and the heavy metals. Now, naturally, or not naturally, but normally, when a body's trying to slough off weight, and you don't have the right markers in your metabolic functioning system working appropriately, the body won't actually release the adipose fat because it will dump the toxins back into your system, and that's very, very harmful. So when you can do this in a way where the toxins move out of your system, you don't get sick again, your body feels safe releasing the toxins and the fat, well, you start to clean up this amazing conduit. And when your body's no longer bogged down, wow, more mental clarity, so much more energy, more motivation, so much more happiness. All of the hormones in your body start operating properly. I mean, this is a magical vessel we're in. And anytime I see anybody that's operating at less than optimum, it almost always has to do with physical toxins in the body. Oh, and when you reset your metabolism, side effect, you lose a ton of freaking weight safely and easily. It's amazing. And it's part of the ascension process. It's part of your abundance code. Like if you're not living in a body that's working for you, that is freaking optimized and looks amazing and that you absolutely love, you're not in full activation of your body abundance. And then, like I talked about the other components, unique design code, activating your genetic codes for abundance, understanding your unique design code, and utilizing the power of the Serenity tools to rescript and reprogram your cells, your patterns, your past, your ancestral profiling, your genetics. It's very powerful, easeful, fast tools and a way and a platform to get from where you're at to where not only you want to be, but where you're supposed to be. We're here, we're speeding up constantly, moving faster and faster and faster in the frequencies. And we all have access to jumping in to that realm in a way that's easeful and much more comfortable than what a lot of us are experiencing. So anyhow, that's my version of abundance. I would love to hear from you, by the way, if you'd like to respond wherever you're seeing this, on the website, on YouTube, on Facebook. Just go down in the comments and give me your input on what your vantage point of abundance is. It's different for everybody, and I'd love to know what you have to say. So anyway, thank you for joining in, tuning in, listening to this. And if you're ever interested in having a complimentary session so that you can learn more about activating your unique design code for abundance, you just let me know. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Mwah. So much love to you.